You are watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, bringing you your daily dose of business and technology to educate, empower, and inspire small business owners. Be sure to subscribe to the show today.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land, and all of my friends around the world. Welcome to another episode of the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. Listen, I got a good show for you today. My guest is Miss Sharon Reagan. She's going to be telling us about how she has managed to start this amazing organization to support single families, single parent families. And I think that's so important. I was a single parent for a very long time, and I was an entrepreneur at the same time trying to start a business. So I understand the importance of having that support because I didn't have it. I had it at home, but I didn't have it from mentors and outside forces. I had it from my mom. My mom was my best friend. She was my rock. She was my partner. She was my rock solid partner until I got married. So I'm so happy to have you here. I can just imagine, though, you have a CPA firm, an accounting firm. It's the busy time of the year for you. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing fantastic. I'm just so excited to be here to share my vision. Audrey, you know, taxes is it comes and it goes. But I do a lot of business consulting work, and I do that all year with business owners because that is my passion, is working with small businesses to help them build their legacy so that they can leave a legacy behind for their families and help the communities, which is one of the arms of my nonprofit, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I'm doing great.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now, Sharon, I know you have a CPA firm, an accounting firm. How long have you been in that space?
Oh my goodness. I've been full-time since 2000. Oh God, since 2007. But I started my business part-time while I worked full-time. So I've been in my field over 40 years.
Wow.
I just started out part-time because, I tell entrepreneurs all the time, don't just jump out there, quit your job, and you don't have a plan.
Wait, I got to back you up 1 second. So Sharon says she's been in that industry 40 years. So listen, y'all, black don't crack. Go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead. That's all I'm going to say on that.
You are so sweet. And so, I'll tell you who inspired me, which is why I just love what you do, Audrey. A professor in college inspired me to start doing taxes because he just was this little bunny and just danced around the classroom, and he loved the tax field. And I said, anybody that do numbers that's excited like that, I think I want to try that. And that's who inspired me. So we all need an inspiration. And I started out full-time working like a lot of us. And I was blessed to be able to come out full-time during the year of the Olympics because I got a contract with the Olympics. And that's what pushed me out totally on my own. And it's been awesome ever since. And the nonprofit was started in 2007 as a legacy to my mom and my husband's mom. And we're going to talk about that, Audrey. So, but that's how I started. I had a pencil and a dream. Because I started doing taxes when it was pen and paper.
That sounds like a book, Sharon, a pencil and a dream.
I just had a pencil and a dream. That's a true story.
That sounds like a book right there. I don't know. That sounds like a bestseller too. It's interesting. I went to college. I was really good in math and science, and I went to college, and I didn't have good mentors in college. They told me to go to be an accountant. So, but that's not their fault. They didn't really get a chance to know me. So I went to school to be an accountant, right? And found that even though I love science and math, I didn't like accounting. Wow. So I thought that was my only path. And then I did nothing. I was like, I don't like this and I'm not going to do anything. So I did nothing. And when I later realized I could be an entrepreneur, it has been 27 years nonstop. Now, you said something very interesting. You said, don't quit your job. Somebody should have told me that. I quit my job.
Okay.
Bad credit. No money saved up. Single parent. Big idea. That's all I had. That's it. That was it.
Just imagine, though, what you're able to share now.
Oh, yeah.
See, in most of us, okay, don't come with a plan because, a lot of us were raised, go to college.
Yep.
Get that good job.
Yep.
Right? you know, you got to instill this in the kids now when they're young.
Yeah.
And show them, come work with me in the business, see how you can make your money, have them fill out timesheets, have them save something, have them see the difference. I didn't have that either. I just come from a legacy of entrepreneurs, but I knew how to hustle. I knew how to make I knew how to make money, and members in my family are like that too. But nobody, Audrey, sat me down to talk about monitoring your credit. You know, I knew keeping my books on the financials. I did that. That wasn't it. But nobody talked to me about a legacy.
Yeah.
A legacy. You know, knowing how, you know, branding, all this good marketing that nobody told me all about that. So what we're able to impart into people now is going to be priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's, we're living in a very interesting time, because when I started out in entrepreneurship, all I had was Black Enterprise Magazine.
Right.
That was it. I lived by Black Enterprise Magazine. Like, that was my go-to for everything. And I remember one of my friends, her family had her grandfather and this group of Black people had built this subdivision in Sag Harbor in Long Island, right? Beautiful Black community. So if you know anything about Long Island, it's about money, most of it, right? Most of Long Island is about money. It's where the Hamptons is, Sag Harbor is there. So I remember, going to the summer house, because they said they would go it was like if you ever saw the movie The Inkwell, that's what it reminds you of, because we went there at Labor Day. She said, let's go for Labor Day. So, okay, had never been to Sag Harbor. I go there for Labor Day. Now, Black Enterprise was my go-to for entrepreneurship, 100%.
Right.
I read it all the time. We go to Sag Harbor. I get to this little town. I get to this little subdivision, and Earl Graves' house is across the street.
Wow.
Right? Susan Teller house is around the corner.
Wow.
B. Smith house is around the corner. And then B. Smith has a restaurant on Sag Harbor. So we go there and have dinner. I'm sitting there like I was in a foreign land, because these were the people that I read about. Susan was the editor. Earl Graves was a publisher. B. Smith was a media mogul. I'm sitting there like, this is surreal.
Wow.
But that's what we had. Today, they have so many resources. Now, Sharon, let me ask you, because it's resources at their fingertips, and you would think that we would have more people building legacy, and we do have way more than we had before.
That's true.
But with all of this resources that we have available right now, do you find that people just get overwhelmed with information because it's so much?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that question. And for somebody that's worked with entrepreneurs on the tax side and doing webinars and seminars, this is what I have found. Which is why, Audrey, during COVID-19, I started I just know this is what I was supposed to do, because a lot of my business owners and people that are not in business, they were calling me, Ms. Reagan, do you know where I can get this, when I can get this, because people were COVID was scary for a lot of us. Yeah. And I don't care what kind of business you're in. And I have a client that's in the funeral business. They did very well. Okay. They did. Yeah. They did off the chain revenue. Okay. But what I found, Audrey, was people didn't know where to go. Mm-hmm. They didn't know where to go get the information. Yeah. And so in my spirit, I obeyed, and I started discover your talent, create your legacy. Mm-hmm. So I do snippets now of discover your talent, create your legacy. And I send information out now. I have an email consultant. I send all kind of information out now. And people say, why do you do that? Why don't you charge? I said, because there's a point in your life where you're supposed to give back. Yes. You're supposed to give. You can't keep just taking everything for yourself. There's a point where you're supposed, this is my legacy. I know what I'm called to do. So I send out snippets every week on not just Instagram, Facebook, but LinkedIn. And I have an email consultant. That's all she does is send out information. Yeah. What I found out was ages 28 to 40 on social media read my snippets. They go to these workshops. So that told me something. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's the information. The second thing is, and I'll be real candid when I say this, because you're going to understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to pay for knowledge.
They don't.
They want to go Google
Yep.
how to set up an LLC.
And
They
mess
go,
it up.
they go Google how to set up a corporation. And when they come to me, sometimes they should never have set it up. They don't know anything about bylaws. They haven't let attorney prepare their bylaws.
Mm-mm.
They do the Google. Everything's free. And so they say, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I get calls all the time about that. People don't want to pay for knowledge. You have to invest in your business.
Absolutely.
So between not knowing what to do, not wanting to pay for what to do, that's one of the problems. And interesting enough, I'm on Henry County Chamber of Commerce. And so I talk to a lot of people that are in positions in lending. And and a sad story was they had to send millions of dollars back to the government because people didn't have their financials straight.
Yep.
So what is the excuse with that now? See, when I first started, it was, but what about now? You could, you know what I mean? You could call your friend and say, who does this for you?
It's the Google. Listen, I heard somebody call it the Google. It's the Google, and it's so crazy. I teach entrepreneurship. Been doing that for a long time, but I also teach podcasting. Right? I had a gentleman that I knew personally reached out. Now I have done just on Good Morning Gwinnett alone. I've done 1,072 episodes just on this show alone.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Just this show. Now, I've been podcasting since 2009, so I'm sure I'm well over 2,000 episodes. He calls me. He said, I want to start a podcast. I said, okay, well, I got a class coming up. It's 100. I think at that time it was $147. I said, well, take the class. I got a class coming up. He would not take the class. He Googled everything. He asked me, well, why would I take the class if I could just Google it? Then why did you call me? I said, you can Google it. I said, but the one thing you will not get is personal experience on Google. You're going to get everything else. He started it. He did 3 episodes and he quit.
See?
And I just shook my head because you pay to skip the line. That's what you pay.
I love that one. I got to use that one.
Because you do. Because I don't have time to go Google 2,900 things. I need to get right to, let me just say, for me, I need to get right to what I'm trying to get to. So me going out there Googling 3,000 topics on 3,000 things on one, that's a waste of my time. And then you don't know. Everybody is telling you their own experience, right, Sharon? My experience. We both teach entrepreneurship. We're both entrepreneurs, but you're going to get my side and you're going to get your side. Now you got to try to figure out which side is the right side. How about you just go to somebody and let them walk you through the process? You pay to skip the line.
Audrey, because people don't pay for value. I cannot tell you, and I'll tell you something, since COVID and there's so many losses that lenders and government experience due to fraud. I'm a forensic examiner. And so one of the things that I get information all the time on a lot of fraud. So a lot of the requirements have stepped up. And I tell my business owners this, anybody that come to me, I tell them this, you're going to have to go to the bank one day. Mm-hmm. You're going to have, unless you got this pocket full of money to get everything you need in your business, because I didn't. I had a pencil and a dream. Yeah. I had a 401k and I took some for that. And my husband, who I was dating then, bought my first computer because I didn't like that, right? Mm-hmm. Right? I had a pencil and a dream. So unless you have this pocket full of money, you're going and your vision gets bigger than your savings account, you're going to have to go to the bank. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many calls I get. Well, I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to get this loan and they want to see financials prepared by a CPA. I need you to sign off on this form. And I tell them, I can't help you, sweetie. I said, I have a firm policy. Unless you're my business client, I don't sign off on any documents. Yeah. And they were, why? Well, why? All it is a document. And I said, because that's a liability to me if you don't decide you don't want to pay that loan back. Yep. And my signature has value. So I teach them to get out of, I'm just going to save $200 and do it myself, to you're going to go to the bank one day. Yeah. And my business clients, they all got everything that they were entitled to during COVID because they got it.
Yeah.
You have to, I try to get people to understand the value of a signature.
Yeah.
It depends on how big is your vision.
Yeah.
If you just want to do $1,000 a month, that's okay. If that's right. But if
Right.
you're talking 10,000, 100,000, you know, you're gonna have to pay for marketing, which you do. You got to pay for that. You're going to pay for a lawyer. You're going to have to pay for a CPA. Enrolled agents can do tax returns, but these lenders want the CPA initial on those tax returns. And so we're moving in times now. I tell people, how big is your vision?
Yeah.
Is this going to
Yeah.
be a hobby?
Yeah.
Or is this
Yeah.
going to be a business? It just makes a difference. So they don't value stuff until they need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And
we're in
we have
different
to,
fields.
we have to try to get them. And I don't know how we get them to change that mindset, because I know when I first started, I had a big dream, and I knew for me, nothing was going to stop me from making it come true. So I'm an inventor. I invented the first plus size fashion dolls.
Really?
And I did. And that was an idea in my head. And all I knew was, I got to make this happen. I got to make this happen. So that's what I did. So I told my friend, she became my business partner, and we just hit the ground running. Now, she didn't quit her job. She was like, I can't quit my job. I quit my job, Sharon, and took a paper route, 3:00 in the morning, slinging papers,
Go ahead, girl.
because I had this dream, but I was willing to give it all up. And I'm not telling anybody to do that, because that was rough, y'all. Don't do that, because you don't have to this day and age. But I was willing to give it all up. I was willing to put in all the time, right? I was willing to sacrifice me. I used to party like a rock star, Sharon. 4 days a week I party. I gave it
I
all
understand
up.
that too.
I gave it all, because and here's my driving force was my daughter. I had one daughter, and at the time I started, she was about 4, and she'll be 32 in June.
Wow.
She was about 4. When I got really serious, she was about 7, I think it was. And I was like, I got to get real serious. But I had that was my driving force. So I know for you deal with a lot of single parents. And at that time, I was a single parent. Her dad and I had broken up. I thought I was going to be married. He introduced me to the good life, and then we broke up. But I saw what the good life looked like. I saw what it looked like to have money and to fly in planes and be picked up in limos. I saw what that looked like. I saw what his dad had a house, Sharon. His dad had a house. I went to visit them.
Mm.
Inside the house, all the bedrooms were surrounding the swimming pool.
Mm.
At the bottom of the pool was his name in the tile.
My goodness.
And I was like, is that? So I'm looking over in the pool, like, is that his name in the pool, in the tile? So he introduced me to that lifestyle, and I wanted that. And I wanted to feel like, I was leaving a legacy for my daughter. We had a daughter. So I know you work with a lot of single parents with Soaring Eagles, right? What made you decide to start that organization?
Wow. This one is touching to me. My mom, who is me and my husband's mom, who both are in heaven. In 2007, I had a moment, and my husband and I, we had very similar mothers.
Mm-hmm.
They were the rock. Yeah. They were the rock. They had spouses, but they were the wind beneath our wings. My husband's mom told all 3 of her kids, they're all scientists, doctors today, you're going to college and you can't bring me less than A's when you're in school.
Yeah.
And it was rough, for that generation back then, dealing with so many things. My mom, it was 5 of us. She said, you're all going to college, or if you're not going to college, you're going in the military, or if you didn't choose door number 1 or door number 2, you better tell me why that job is so good that you didn't choose 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. So our parents, our moms were our wind. And I wanted to leave a legacy for them. And so Soaring Eagles, anything tied to Soaring Eagles has the number 21 on it. 21 is the number of expectancy. Mm. And so, because it's a faith-based nonprofit, I don't challenge anybody's faith, but mine is faith-based, because there's things that I got to be able to impart. And I wanted the eagle, because if you know anything about an eagle, Eagles don't hang with turkeys.
That's right. They don't.
And eagles don't even fly in flocks.
Yeah.
Eagles fly alone, and they go high. And when they come down, they after something, and they get it, and they go back up.
Yep.
So that's my logo. Is Soaring Eagles, where we help to change the world one family at a time. And so this organization, here again, I had a dream. I didn't have a whole bunch of donors. My husband and I were the donors for 10 years, by the way.
Wow.
And I didn't start getting my donors until, like, say, 10, this is 2024. I would probably say the last 7 years. Because I believe that people don't buy into your vision until they see what you're putting into it.
Yep.
So I don't understand the mindset where people want everybody to fund their vision.
Yeah.
But this is your vision, right? So we started with that concept. I know in business, you got to have a website, got all that done. And we don't try to take care of the world. We take care of who God sends to me.
Right.
Okay. And we have amazing stories. We deal with single families because it's hard for single parents. I have so much respect for single parents. If you go in the grocery store now, food is so expensive.
Yeah.
So when we give gift cards, so that they can exhale. Okay. When somebody goes on an interview, I don't give them used shoes. We give them a gift card because you can't take people's dignity away when they're going through.
Yeah.
And my experience has been, it takes 90 days for somebody to come from no hope to some hope. And then we mentor them until they all the way on their feet. Okay. Yeah. And so that's where it was birthed from, is we mentor, disciple eagles so that they can fly. And we impart in them the concept. I want you to pay it forward. And I want you to tell Ms. Reagan, who are you now helping? Yeah. We start with the head though, the moms. Okay. We start at the top, because if we do so much for the child and we haven't fixed the top.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We haven't done the full picture. We got to work on the head. So we deal with mothers that have gone through cancer, can't work because they have gone through cancer. Mothers that we have to send them to psychiatrists. They were having a meltdown. Yeah. Meltdown is real. If you just watch TV now, mental health, this is not new. Yeah. But you got to listen to what people saying to you. You know, people that were widowed. I have a niece. She's 31 years old, became a widow at 30. Her husband passed away due to COVID. Yeah. COVID complications. She became a widow at 30. Yeah. Okay. These are the stories that we have. We have a young pilot. He's 18 in upstate Washington, who wanted to be a pilot. And he's taken his pilot lessons, and we help support that. Yeah. They have to send us information. We post their stories, but this is what this was birthed from. It hasn't been easy, but it's been so worth it, Audrey, because we see these are legacies that we're helping to build. And I couldn't be happier.
You know, it's so interesting. I'm the president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce, one of the founders and the president. And we had our gala about 2 weeks ago. Wow. And I wanted to do the award to be something different, right? So I go to Chat GPT and I was like, this is what I want. I need it to look like this. And it created me an image. And the image that it created was a woman and an eagle standing side by side.
Stop it.
Beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And so that's what's on the award. And it's called Women Who Soar. GWC 2024 Women Who Soar. Because just like what you said, I feel like we're here to help people, but sometimes people don't even know they need the help.
That's true.
Sometimes they don't know how to accept the help, and mental health is for real, real. I'll tell you a quick story. So I lost my mom to COVID.
Oh, wow.
During that time, we had George Floyd thing going on. Then COVID hit right after that, right? I tell people to this day, I have never been scared of anything. I grew up in the inner city, so I was never scared of anything. Today, Sharon, I know I have PTSD because of all of the stuff that happened. When the thing happened with George Floyd, I have two nephews, a husband, and a brother. And I'm telling you, I can hear a siren and I'm on the phone calling. I'm not calling to alarm them. I'm calling sense like, hey, what you doing? But in my mind, I'm just calling to hear their voice to make sure they're okay.
I got you.
Right. Then forget COVID. Like I was my mom was the only one who said she was going to take that shot. It was like, we're not taking no shot. So the whole house got COVID and we lost her.
Ah,
And we all took the shot. Because at that point we had to take the shot. So we have all these things that mess with our heads. So that being said, I know what it's like to be a single parent. I know it's like to be a single parent with a dream. I know it's like to be a single parent with no money, with a child with a dream. I know what that's like, right? When you talk to these parents, they're single parents for whatever the reason is. They have a whole lot going on in their mind. The outside world is clogging up their spirit. How do you help them move past that? Because that's a lot.
Ooh, well, I'll tell you how I help them. Okay. Here again, my organization is faith-based. I'm a Christian, so I talk like one. Okay. I just had a call here last week. Somebody Googled me for one thing, and single parent, stressed to the nine. Yeah. Okay. Stressed to the nine. And I think we talked for 2 hours.
Wow.
Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to.
Yep.
You know, I have a philosophy that people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Right.
And so sometimes we're so busy trying to give people the advice, we don't listen to what they have to say. It's kind of like when somebody passes away and people say, oh, well, they're in a better place. And you grieving.
Right.
That's not what you say to people.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost my husband's mom to COVID. We brought her here from Fort Valley to care for her because her sister passed away to COVID. His mom was in her 90s.
Wow.
And so my husband and I will never forget COVID because he lost his mom and his aunt, who was like his second mom.
Never forget it.
You just never forget COVID. You know, anybody that tell me COVID is not real, I just get real irritated because when you have experienced, like my husband's mom, she never got a chance to come out the hospital. She went in and they had to plan for her homegoing. My husband's mom, who by the way was positive, we brought her here from Fort Valley and we brought her in our home to take care of her. And she was positive, but we never got it.
Wow.
See, that's just God. I mean, I know for a fact. Okay. I'm a healthy eater. I make sure we juice and all that, but that was a God moment for me. Neither one of us. And she was ready to go when she found out her sister passed because she was the last living relative. But I learned so much from that to meet people where they are. Let them trust you first.
Yeah.
Get to know them. We say all these cliches and we try to do these quick fixes to helping people. I know the difference between someone that wants more for their life and somebody that just wants a free hand.
That's right.
But that's why my logo is an eagle, because if you just want a free hand, we're not the organization. Yeah. And I spend time with the mothers. I spend time on the phone with the mothers. Fortunately, I work from home now, which is a blessing, but I get to talk to the mothers and see where they are. Once people trust you, they'll let you in.
Yeah.
And we can't put them on a timer.
Nope.
We can't say, well, you're not over that yet. Right. You still dealing with that. Now, I used to be impatient like that, Audrey, years ago, but God has changed me. And I learned how to listen. And because people's stuff is so deep. Yes. It goes so deep. It goes back to childhood. It goes to I deal with women that have been gone through abuse, abandonment, abuse.
Yeah.
with the mate,
Yeah.
boyfriend, husband. They don't just get healed overnight. And so you know, you have to walk them through it. And that's why I know anybody that calls me or call my nonprofit, it's God sent them, because they need what we have. And it takes a village now. I partner now. When I first started, I did everything. But to touch more people, you've got to partner.
Yeah.
So I developed partnering relationships. I have a Rolodex of doctors, psychiatrists, people that know where food banks are, people that know how to get a bed. I mean, the stuff that we just take for granted.
Yeah.
I partner now. So you get to reach, but my organization definitely does the mentoring.
That's nice.
Because
okay.
it's needed. I have a young girl. I'll never. She's my poster child. There's two of them. I met her when she was 17. She actually came to our church. She walked in. She was in a bad situation, and somehow they connected me with her. She was 17. She has an amazing story. We actually post the Eagles stories on our social media because they're young and people need to see. And I knew where she was. I knew where she wasn't. And she'll tell you, she's Miss Reagan, you never judge me. You never ask me a bunch of questions. Because Audrey, we've been where these young people are.
Yes.
They just haven't been where we are, right? So
right.
you can see the signs.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But today, we can see it. So today I pushed her to go get her degree. She got her A degree. She's working. She has a child. She is a testimony of what mentoring and discipleship does. And she's in church and she knows how to pray for herself. These are the things I push, because at the end of the day, when COVID hit your home, like you've experienced, when you lose a job, when you lose a loved one, like my niece, she was a widow at 30 years old. Yeah. Husband came home, he didn't look good, called the ambulance. He passed away in her driveway. They just didn't tell her.
Wow.
And back then, everybody couldn't go in the hospital. Right?
Oh,
so she had to go deal with that herself.
Yep.
She'll never be the same. So these things create this reality of why I have a budget for mental health. Because you've got to help restore the whole body.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. At the chamber, we just launched our Women's Veterans Committee. And the person who's the chair over there, she's a vet. And, we were talking about upskilling and all these different things. And she said, Audrey, before we even get to the upskilling part, we got to deal with the mental health part.
Yep.
She said, before we even get to that, we got to deal with that part first. She said, because people think that we don't want to work. She said, it's not that we don't want to work. We have a whole lot of mental stuff that's going on from being in the military. She said, and until that stuff is addressed, we're never going to hold down a job. We're not. So she said she hates being in crowded rooms. So when she's in a crowded room, that's a trigger for her. So for her to be in a crowded room, she's really learning how to deal. But she said, we have to service that part first before we can put them into any kind of position. And I was like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. I'm thinking about, okay, we're going to help them upskill. We're going to, get, it's like, no. We can't even put them over there until we know that they're okay. So she's put together this whole group of mental health professionals to address that part first. And then they come over to the business side. I thought that was so interesting.
When you said that, Anya, you bring to mind a story. I have a woman, she's one of my Eagles. I met her. It's so funny. I met her. We were both going to the mailbox where my office was before it caught on fire in 18. But I met her some years ago. We were passing each other as we were going. She was coming from the mailbox. I was going to mine. And we just got to talking. And I know this was not by coincidence. She was a veteran. What your young lady said is so right on point. Somehow we connected. Here again, you've got to really listen to people and just take them to lunch. You'll find out a lot. She was a mom of 3 kids. Long story short, she got into it. She was a veteran. So she had some issues. And One day I found out she was in a crisis. And she was getting ready to lose everything. But I knew she needed some help. I said, girl, you're a veteran. I know that there's help for you out there. I need you to make this phone call and I need you to call this number. And she did. And I remember taking them up to this facility way up in Sandy Springs, started by a woman whose mother had alcohol addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove her and her kids up there, partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
them there because they had housing, they had medical care, they had ways for her to get a job, but they first had to deal with the mental state, like you were saying. I did not see her again until 10 years later.
Wow.
Okay. This is a true story. And to this day, we stay connected.
Wow.
She came to my church because she knew where I went. And she was in the back. I'll never forget it. I was sitting way in the front. She must have asked the usher, where is Miss Reagan? Now, she was in her, I'm older than her, but she's not that much younger than me, but she always called me Miss Reagan. And she said, where's Miss Reagan? And they told her. She walked from the back of the church up to the front. Audrey, I turned around and I looked at her and I cried. Oh, I get choked up talking about her.
Yeah.
Because the restoration that I saw on her was nothing you could explain. She was smiling. She was a beautiful woman anyway, but she hadn't lost her hope. And she said, Miss Reagan, you kept telling me, girl, you lost your hope. We're going to get that hope back.
Yeah.
And when she walked down that aisle, she walked like she was $1 million. She looked like her kids, they doing well now. I'm talking about watching somebody that had lost their hope.
Yeah.
Be restored. It takes us to help them, because the only difference between us and them is just grace.
Yes.
All you have to do is let our businesses be impacted, like COVID.
Yeah.
Let you lose a job. Health, sickness. You know, my mom had kidney cancer. She passed away from kidney cancer. My husband's, you don't take nothing for granted when you've experienced what we've experienced. But you recognize, no, everybody still needs hope. So we just give them hope. So what she said was just so on point about veterans. My God, we can't even begin to understand what they deal with in their mind.
Yeah. And she's so passionate about it. I'm so grateful that she's on our committees, because, you know, when I launched the chamber, I had this grand idea of what I thought it should be. And after a year of running it, I realized what it can be and what it will be. And it's like you said, it's going to take teamwork, and it's going to take partnerships, and it's going to take, you know, really getting to know people. And Sharon, let me tell you something. This is what I've learned, right? This is what I learned through the chamber. I've learned that a lot of people just want to come in and just get. They don't want to know you. They just want you to give.
That's true.
Right? It's very transactional. And what's interesting is, when I lived in Jersey, I was born here in Georgia, but I lived most of my life in Jersey. In Jersey, we were always, when they say we were fast moving because everything moved fast. Everything was expensive. You had to be hustling all the time. When I moved to Georgia and people would say, let's go to coffee, right? I'm like, okay, well, let's do this first. They're like, no, let's go to coffee. And I'm like, they really want to go sit and have coffee. Now it's kind of shifted, because I see that there are a lot of people who have moved to Georgia who are like me. They don't want to go to coffee. They want to get the deal done. They want to just go. They don't want to pay for nothing, but they want to go. And there are mothers and young mothers and, you know, grandmothers, and, you know, they all have this, a lot of them have this mindset of, I don't want to pay you.
Right.
I just want you to give it to me. I don't want to wait for it. What do you do when you encounter those type of people, when you know your process?
Right. Well, here's the thing. Here again, everybody that comes to me is not for me. I'm not for them. And you have to know, you don't shift your vision. Okay. You don't shift your vision. They got to shift.
That's right.
Okay. And I think we make that mistake sometime. I told somebody the other day, I said, in the United States of America, if you are in a place where everything's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I had a young guy came to me, and I'll give you this example so you can understand what I'm saying. Everything's a choice. It depends on how you choose you want to live. I met a guy years ago. I still see his lawn care truck to this day. He came to me. He had been to jail 10 times.
Wow.
He'd been to jail 10 times. The 10th time, he said he's not going back. True story. Somehow he got me. I don't know how he found me because my office was in Stone Mountain at the time. He came to me. He had started a lawn care business. He said, well, Miss Reagan, I know I'm not going to ever get a job. So I'm going to start me a lawn care business. And I said, well, what made you not go back to jail? He said, I was just tired. He said, I was just tired. He started this lawn care business, right? He had enough sense to go get him a CPA, though. That's the thing to me. He had enough sense to do that. And he attended church. And I would talk to him about his record keeping and all of that. I did his stuff for 10 years. And let me tell you a true story. I tell everybody, you don't know how your life will change just like that. You could be going through a struggle for a minute and something will happen.
Yep.
He was very faithful in his giving in his church. He said, I don't play with that, Miss Reagan. I play with other stuff, but not that. He was working for, another gentleman used him as a subcontractor to help maintain a lot of the properties in Atlanta. This contractor was awarded a $1.5 million contract. But guess what? They had to give 25% of that contract to a Latino, and they had to give 25% to an African American.
He was in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
What? Overnight, he was awarded $250,000. That was over 15 years ago. I still see his truck overnight. Yeah. So I tell people, you don't know how your world will change if you position yourself for the change. That's right. I know people that's coming to me to want a handout. And I tell them, we're not the organization because we birth eagles. So you don't shift your vision. You don't shift your vision. They have to come up to you. A young lady that used to work for me, I'll never forget this. She showed up at my door one day looking for a job. She was neatly dressed. She just was dressed like a young person, right? But her hair was neat. She had on the spandex and, and she knocked for an accounting job on top of that, right? And I looked at her. Now, one part of me, once upon a time, may not have hired her, but it was something about her. You know what did it for me? I had her come in, fill out the application so I could talk to her. I want to see where her head was because I have a passion for young people, especially over 18. And I was getting ready to leave, and I said, do you need a ride? And she says, no. I said, no, come on, let me drop you home. Because I spent time with her. I didn't realize how far this child walked to get to work, because she worked in fast food. My office was right across the street from it. When I took her home and found out how far she walked, I said, you walk here every day? Because she was going to Perimeter College. She said, well, I have to do what I have to do, Miss Reagan. I said, oh my goodness. Yeah. I hired her and I told her, here's the criteria, because I don't shift my vision. You got to go get your degree. It's not an option. You're at Georgia Perimeter. When are you going to get your BS degree? Because you're going to need it. I said, if you work for me, you got to go finish something. I said, when you're trying to work, people don't want to see what you're going to do, what you could have done. On your resume, they want to see what you've done. She went and got her degree at Georgia State. She's an accountant to this day. She even started her own accounting business. She's a mom, all of that. Wow. Because young people still need somebody to set boundaries.
That's right.
You don't let kids just do what they want. Yeah. You have to help them set boundaries. I do the same thing with the moms. But I disciple them a different kind of way because I got to first hear their story. I got to see what happened, and just be a contact for them. Because some people, like the young lady that I've talked to here, She just needed to vent, Audrey. She just needed to get stuff out of her system so she could refocus and come up with another plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think there are so many people like you and I. Like I was earlier this morning, I was on a conference call with the pastor, and her organization is called By Faith Global Ministries.
Wow.
And she was telling me we did last year, I think it was last summer, we did a entrepreneurship program for women. And she's like, I need to bring that back. And she's so funny. She's in the chamber. We gave an award because Sharon, she's a little bit like you, except for she would kind of shift her vision to help folks, right? But it was burning her out.
Yes.
It was burning her out. So I said to her, we had a meeting about 2 months ago, and I was like, look, you're going to have to pick something, and you have to tell people they can't come to you for everything. So when we gave her the award, her award said she was a one-man disaster team because people call her for everything. She has taken truckloads of, I'm talking about transfer truckloads of water to Mississippi for the crisis. She's taking food to people. She's taking furniture to folks. She's all over the place, and she was just getting burned out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we were talking. I said, you got to pick something and be known for that thing because you're burning yourself out. And she's like, I know, I'm just so tired, and I just want to do something. You know, I want to stay in what I do, but I'm just. So we sat there this morning and we talked about the two things she's going to do. And she said, oh my God, that feels so much better. So when people come to you and you discover, okay, they qualify to be an eagle, but they have we call it monkey brain. They have monkey brain because there's so much stuff that's going on. I want to do this. I want to do that. And listen, I'm an entrepreneur, die hard till they put me in the box, y'all. That's who I am, right? And I understand the monkey brain because God gives me these amazing ideas. I should be able to just dump them out and sell them to somebody. So many of them. But when you get that person that comes to you and you have said, okay, you qualify to be an eagle, right? But they have all this stuff going on. How do you help them decide, focus on this one thing? Because I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to tell you that has been my biggest challenge past the first business. When I was doing the first business, it wasn't so challenging because I didn't understand entrepreneurship for real. I was just getting started. But oh baby, when I learned about all the things I could create and make happen, it was on and popping and confusing. When that person comes to you and they have qualified and they have so many ideas and they're creative and they're not business, because I find that most creatives aren't business minded, they're creative minded. So they need Sharon, they need the attorney, they need that person. How do you help them hone that thing in to create something amazing?
You know, you asked an awesome question, Archie, because I get this all the time. And this is what I do. I try to keep it real simple. I had a client of mine years ago that told me, because even as a CPA, I have other licenses. I just don't advertise them.
Right.
Okay. He told me something he told me something I'll never forget. He said, Ms. Reagan, when people see that you got all these things going on, you don't look focused.
Mm-hmm.
He said, they know you as the CPA. That's it. Yep. He said, but if you want to earn, because I always tell people, to survive in business, you're going to have a vision, but you got to write it down. Because if you don't write it down, you're going to be all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. And then your mission is how you're going to earn it, how you're going to fulfill your vision. So in my firm, I have other licenses, but nobody knows anything about me except I'm the numbers lady.
That's
okay.
Right.
I help get them focused there. And then I have people that say, oh, I'm just good at so many things. So I ask them, but what are you master of? And what is the thing that is going to bring you your income so that you can now make a difference in the world? So you're not master of everything. You're master of some things. Like I had a young lady who came, same question. And we help refocus her, because I make people write stuff down, Audrey. Mm-hmm. You know, young people call them vision boards. Well, I'm old school. I like to see on a piece of paper some things because it's something right. about when I write stuff down and I tell them, okay, so tell me all these things you're great at. And they start writing it down. I say, okay, tell me what qualifies you to do these things. I had somebody come wanted to do a massage one day for me. She didn't have a license. Yeah. so she had a hobby. State of Georgia, you need to have a license.
That's right.
Okay. I tell her, okay, tell me what qualifies you. What I make people write it down. I say, okay, what's the one thing right now that's going to pay your bills? And then what's the one thing that you just absolutely know you're gifted at? Some people are gifted at selling stuff, like they could sell ice water.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So take a look at, I make them write stuff down. Okay. So that they can find out where's that talent to create your legacy. Audrey, I had people tell me this. I just want to help people. I said, that's not your business. Your business is to make money.
Right.
Your nonprofit is to help people.
That's right.
Right. So just like you were very blessed to have exposure to so much so young, so you could see yourself past certain things. So I recommend to even my clients that do very well in their business, that are very strong givers to their church, givers to the community. I said, you need to have your own nonprofit so that you can start giving to your own nonprofit, use it as a tax shelter. But now you're changing the world. Now you're changing the community. So I make people write stuff down. By the time we get to that sheet of paper with me, we start cutting stuff. And I tell them, I said, this is not the time for this right now.
Yeah.
This is your money maker. Okay. So in your ideas, where's your vision? Do you have it written? Do you have a mission statement? Is it written? How about your bookkeeping? People still doing Excel in 2024. I said, so how can you tell how you did 5 years ago if it's not on the computer in front of you? How do you plan your marketing? You have a marketing strategy. By the time I finish with them, that list has been cut down.
Yeah.
I had a young lady, we laugh to this day. Audrey, she had gotten her master's in finance or something. She was working at a job she hated. Okay. It paid her bills. And I have a real estate license, right? That I love riding people around is because I got my license because I wanted to buy property, invest in property, leave the legacy for family.
Right.
She wanted to buy an investment property. Man, that child, one day I was with her. We were all over the place. You know what I told her? I said, sweetie, sit down a second. Miss Reagan got to talk to you.
Yeah.
I said, you love real estate a little bit too much to not have your license. I said, you need to go get your license because we're done. I said, I can't help you because I don't enjoy this. So you got to enjoy what you do. Okay.
That's right.
And, she went and she got, not only did she get her real estate license, she got her broker's license. And guess what? Her niche is investment property. And we laughed about it because I had to call her on something else. She said, Ms. Reagan, now I see what I put you through. She said, I think I'll stick to investment property. She found out her background in finance is good because she now knows how to do her books and all that. But her passion was finding investment properties. Yeah. Getting paid from working with investors. Yeah. That was her passion. So I find out what people's passion is. We get them focused. And I said, like other little things that you like to do, you get somebody to run that for you. Consumers don't need to see us in 10 things. Nope. They need to see us focused on that one thing. You partner with the others and just get royalties or you get a percentage. Don't be all over the place. So I get them focused, trust me.
And that's so important. I remember I had a business coach. Oh God, we're almost out of time. This is a good conversation. When I run out of time, it's like, what? I remember I had a business coach a long time ago. His name was Andrew Morrison. And he had been on Oprah and everything. And he was my coach. And he was charging a little bit of nothing to coach us, right? And I thought I knew something then because I had invented this doll and we sold the doll and and by that time we had dissolved the company and I had moved on to something else because now I know what I know, right? And I paid all this money for someone to build a website for me. It was beautiful, logos. And he said to me, Audrey, your website is beautiful, but nobody knows what you do. And I was like, what you mean? I do this. He says, too much. But
Right.
I ain't listen, Sharon, because I knew what I knew. You can't tell me nothing. I've been on TV, I've been in magazines, I know what I know. And when I tell you, me not taking that advice, I probably struggled for the next 10 years
Wow.
because I wanted to be everything to everybody.
You got to
So
give
for
us
the,
heart, though. You got
I
to give it.
do.
Yeah.
I do. And I wanted to be but he told me like, well, they don't know what you do. And I was like, of course they do. They can look on the website, they can see. They couldn't see it. And he was telling me that, but I was hard-headed. I didn't listen. So for the next 10 years, I made money, but I made no real money because I struggled because I didn't have a focus. And so I know for a lot of and today, Sharon, it's so many opportunities. And
Yes.
they're listen, y'all, they're everywhere. I was telling somebody recently, I was looking for a side hobby, right? Which is bad for me because everything turns into a business for me. I don't care if I started out as a hobby, it becomes a business. So I make these cookies that people love, right? They always talk about how hard the cookie is.
Uh-huh.
So, but they eat them up. Like they walk and eat them till they're gone. Oh my God, they're so hard, but they're so good. And they just walk and eat. So, my mom's like, girl, that should be a business. That should no, just do it as a hobby on Saturdays at the farmer's market. I had to shut that all down because for me, it'd be Saturdays at the farmer's market. Then it'd be a full-blown website. Then it'd be a full-blown marketing plan. Then it'd be a full-blown business. Listen, I'm like a junkie for entrepreneurship. I am.
Do
That's
you
why
watch
when I
Shark Tank? Do you ever watch Shark Tank?
what? I love Shark Tank.
Okay. You see how focused they get those? You see how they
Yes.
get those entrepreneurs?
Yep.
They ask them. They wait. They can't wait to get to this. What? How
Yep.
did you do it? What's your background?
Yep.
And what are your sales?
Yep. We did a Shark Tank with the chamber. We did a mini Shark Tank where we brought people in and they had to pitch my investors. So I brought in a group of women investors and I had them pitch because I understand being an entrepreneur, we understand, right? I understand the monkey brain because I still suffer from that. Even though I do Good Morning with Net and I run the chamber, there are times when I'm laying in the bed supposed to be relaxing and he just started download stuff. And me, I want to go do them all and have to talk myself out of it. So I understand that. But we did a Shark Tank and it was interesting.
Wow.
Because the women came to pitch. And what was interesting to me, the person that actually got the deal had a line of tarot cards.
Wow.
Yes. They were beautiful though. I'm talking about I had never seen anything like it. They were gorgeous. They were so interested in that. And she got the deal. One young lady, she was about 20, I think she was 20 years old, Sharon. She got the opportunity. She had a cake baking company. Her investor, the investor that liked her, was going to put it out in Hartsville Airport. Yes, ma'am. Guess what happened? The girl came to one of our meetings and she just bust out and started crying. And I said, well, what's wrong? So it was like, so we have a bunch of different meetings through the chamber. This was our breakfast meeting. Sharon, she comes in with her mom. Her mom was at the pitch with her. She pitched the bakery business. One of the investors said, listen, I have all these contracts with the airport. I'm going to get you in the airport. And she did. The girl come back to the meeting like about 2 or 3 months later. I said, hey, how's everything going? Because they reached out to me. And it's like, what's her number? We want to offer her this deal. Okay, so we reached. I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Because she's about 20 years old. She and her mom come to the breakfast about 3 or 4 months later. They're sitting in the breakfast. We're talking about, it's like a mastermind breakfast. We're talking about whatever. So when we get to them, she says, I said, how's everything going? I got you got the airport deal. She's like, yeah. I said, what's wrong? She says, because I'm really an artist. I said, so why do you do the cake? She said, well, my mom told me I should do cakes. So the mom's sitting there. So the mom tried to start talking for her, right? So one of the people's like, no, let her talk. Let her finish what she was saying. She really did not want to do that business. It was her mother living through her. And what the mom was doing, she was living through the fact that she was a young entrepreneur, which she really wasn't. She was a young artist, is what she was. The mom was an entrepreneur, and she didn't. Part of me felt like she didn't feel like she could do the business, and people will accept her. But that was her mindset,
right?
Because she could have been the one pitching to the investors. It was a cake,
right?
And the girl just boohoo cried, Sharon. She just cried her eyes out because she was so unhappy.
Oh.
But she wanted to make her mom happy.
But
and
see, that's
that
what
was
I'm
a
saying. The passion. You
yes.
don't have the passion. And you got to have the passion, because when your money gets funny,
Yep.
you got to hold on to that dream. You got to hold on to that passion. But
That's right.
you will stretch yourself. And my chairman said something that I took to light as soon as he said it. He said, Sharon, you're trying to reach too many people, too many young people. He said, you take your program into organizations that have the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yep.
just so into it, and you're going to touch more. That's
Yep.
all I do now. I
That's
don't
right.
do that running around that I used to do. Because you know what? When you're a worker bee like myself,
Yep.
you don't understand boundaries.
Nope.
You,
Say that
like
again, ma'am. No, ma'am.
we don't understand boundaries until you get burnt out,
That's
or
right.
until you get in bad health. I
Yep.
don't want to have to learn like that. You
Right.
know, we don't know when to stop,
Yep.
because a lot of times the visions are not written.
Yep.
They're not written. I see this all the time. When you got your stuff written, you don't
That's
shift
right.
from that.
That's
And
right.
some things, Audrey, are for tomorrow. They're not for today. But if you
That's
don't
right.
have that passion, some of my clients, they're doctors, they're funeral home directors, they own funeral homes, but they love what they do. They
Yep.
love it. And I think when you love what you do, you make sure that you qualify to do it. And then they have these other things that they do, but they love what they do. I love working with entrepreneurs. I absolutely love it. It's what I'm called to do. My nonprofit, I love seeing families change. I love seeing our kids become whatever they want to be. I'm passionate about that, because we had parents like that. Our mothers was like that. So
Yep.
when they call me and say, Miss Reagan, I got my degree, or I'm flying, want my pilot. He said, Miss Reagan, I'm going to fly you somewhere when I'm done. That's what
Yep.
gives me the joy that I have. It's as you know, you and I both, after a while, when you bought enough shoes, you bought enough clothes,
That's right.
that's not where your real joy comes from. It's going to
Mm-mm.
come from helping somebody leave their legacy.
That's right.
And that's where my passion is now. So you're absolutely right, Audrey. Passion will be there when your money isn't.
That's right. And you have to have. I do this show. I do it 4 days a week, and
Oh,
I've
you
been doing
do?
it 4 days a week. I don't do the video part. I do audio. I used to do all audio.
Uh-huh.
Now I do video on Wednesdays, but I used to do nothing but audio. But 4 days a week, Sharon, and people, they know me from this show. They know me from Good Morning Gwinnett. They know me from podcasts. And what they don't know is that this is a media empire that I'm building. Because it's not
Wow.
just the show. I have a whole news site, right? But a lot of people don't know that. But if you go to Good Morning Gwinnett, it's in a full-blown news site.
Wow.
But it's the passion behind this. And I had to say to myself, Audrey, now you can do a lot of things, and you have more years behind you than you have ahead of you. So you need to buckle down. So when I moved to Georgia, I buckled down. I've been down here 11 years. I buckled down, and I was like, I'm staying in this space. I'm staying in the media space. And I have seen it just blow up. Like when I started in 2009, it wasn't this thing that it is now, with people making millions of dollars and advertisers pumping $1 billion into this industry. It wasn't. They pumped $1 billion into the podcasting industry, advertisers, brands. So that's passion. When I lost my mom, Sharon, she died January 5th. They pronounced it at 5:15 a.m. 10 o'clock, I was on air, snotting, crying, everything, but I was on air. I have done this show from OR rooms, recovery rooms, waiting rooms, parking lots. I have done this show from so many places because I'm passionate about it. I see what it can be. It's written down. When I tell you, if you would have saw all the paper I had stacked up before I started the show, because I was going through notes, I'm a paper junkie. Everything is written down. I love the computer, but I write down everything. So it's about the passion. You are doing some wonderful work where you are. When you are empowering families, especially single moms and single dads, because being single is a job by itself. I want to say thank you for all the work you're doing. This has been a great interview. We could talk for hours, y'all. I'm already 4 minutes over.
I'm so sorry. But Audrey, I want to also, if there's any partnering that I can do with you in your vision, feel free to keep in touch. I don't want this to be the last time, because I have truly enjoyed listening to you with the heart that you have, it's just going to get bigger and better. And so if my organization, or, if there's anything that I can do to partner with you to help push forward what you want to do, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay.
I absolutely will. I just launched the 501c3 part to the chamber. We have a green tech incubator just for women, the first ever in Georgia. I'm excited about that, to help
Wow.
them start businesses in green tech. So I don't know a lot about running a 501c3, but I may have to lean on you a little bit. The other thing too is I want to introduce you to Pastor Barbara. When I tell you, that's the woman that we call it a one-woman disaster team. She's a one-woman disaster team by herself, but she's in Riverdale. And you talk about a big heart. Her heart is as big as Georgia. And so I think you guys will hit it off. She is a woman of God. She has the heart of gold. She's just an amazing person. And there's enough. So as you were talking, there were two women that I think that you guys will just hit it off, because of the work that you do, the people that you serve, and just the hearts that you have. There's another one. Her name is Dr. Jean. And Dr. Jean has a nonprofit in Atlanta for youth.
Oh,
and
okay.
she will fight you for them kids. You hear me? She's 76 years old, and she is feisty. We call her a Spitfire. She's feisty, and she will fight for them kids. She will fight you about them kids.
But
and
you know what? But you know something? That's that passion.
Yes.
And two of the projects that we have coming up is going to be a back to school event, and it's going to be a innovation challenge where kids come up with an idea. And I think you mentioned something similar to that.
That's nice.
And that's coming. Those are our two big projects that's coming up this year. So I am all for partnering. So definitely have them reach out to me.
I certainly will. I will definitely do that, because I feel like you guys will just have a good synergy. And with me, like where are you located, Sharon?
In Stockbridge. I'm in Henry County.
Okay, so you're in Henry County. I think she's in Clayton County. I think both of them are in Clayton County, but the youth center is in Atlanta. But I'm going to be coming down that way to an event. Pastor Barbara told me something that's coming up that I should be. It's like, you need to be there. I was like, well, listen, I'll be there. I don't have nothing on my calendar. I'll be there. So she's supposed to send that to me. But I would love for us to get together. I would love for you to meet them. I would love for us to just get together. So we may have to just put something together, because they're amazing. I think you guys will benefit so much just knowing each other.
I can't wait.
I want to sit down and break bread with you. So I'm going to make sure that happens. I'm going to reach out to Cece, because I know Cece like, listen, send the link. And I'm like, okay, I got to send the link, Cece. So I'm going to make sure that happens. But how can people reach out to you if they want to find out more about what you're doing, support your organization? How can they reach out to you?
Okay. They can reach a couple of ways. Our phone number is area code 470-812-0437. Go to our website. It is www.soaringeagles21.org. And our email is soaringeagles21@gmail.com.
And give me that phone number again.
470-812-0437.
Okay, I'm gonna pop.
And when you come, I'm treating you to lunch.
Okay. So well, listen, I like a good lunch.
Yes, ma'am.
I eat seafood, because I don't eat nothing but seafood. I'm a seafood, like I eat seafood like 5 days a week. I told my husband, I said, I probably got so much mercury in my system that I could probably just light up some stuff.
Yeah, watch the mercury. Watch the mercury. I love seafood too, but watch the mercury now.
I get it checked, because I eat a lot of crabs. It's shameful, but I do. Shameful, Sharon, but I eat it. I'm a crab. I am a crab aficionado. Yeah. Like, I see a crab, I'm like, something's wrong with that one.
I know. Anyway. Listen, I understand. I'm originally from Maryland, seafood state. I know, yeah. But I've been here over 30 years. So this is home. And so, but watch the mercury. But we're gonna do some things this year. I think God is getting ready to do some amazing things. I'm excited. I'm just so glad that I met you. And this will not be the last time.
I know it won't. I know. I got to tell you one quick story and I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
My husband works with this guy. He's from Maryland. He loves crab so much. Every year, the 4th of July, he ordered barrels of crab and they ship it to him. I'm talking about barrels. Like, we went to their house. It was like 2 or 3 barrels of crabs. Yeah. And I was like, he had a tent set up with the thing. I was like, oh my God. Like, that's how much he loved them.
Oh, yes, man. Bay seasoning, all that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I get it. Trust me. Yeah. I get it. You making
Yes.
me crave now.
I know, right? Let me stop talking about it because I'm craving too. I haven't eaten breakfast either. Like I'm like, it's happening. It's happening. Listen, thank you again for being my guest. I really appreciate this. I really love this interview. I interview so many people and I rarely go over my time, but this was a go over for me. And I appreciate it. I just appreciate the work you're doing. And I look forward to sitting down and talking to you more and learning more about how we can work together. Because listen, it's our job. God has charged us all. We all got to charge.
That's
These
right.
are ours. What's yours?
That's right. That's right.
These are our charges. What's
That's
yours?
right. And we're going to do it too.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Well, God bless you, dear.
Thank you,
have
ma'am.
a wonderful day. And we're going to be seeing each other real soon.
All right. You do the same.
All right, dear.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Listen, everybody, if you enjoyed this episode of the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, be sure to go to the website if you missed any past episodes, and you can check out all the past episodes there. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to the show, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, wherever it is. Subscribe to the show. Also, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you like this show, I got more coming, so stick around. But you're going to listen, you don't want to miss the notification. In order not to miss the notification, you need to subscribe to the show. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. I haven't done that yet. So subscribe to the show. There's also a link in the description. If you want to support the show, click that link and you can support the show with just $10 a month. I would appreciate that as well. Thank you all for listening. I'll be back again with another great guest next Wednesday. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Same place, same time, 10 a.m. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the show today and share it with your friends by going to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com.